let's jump into the other topics, Danny.
Okay. All right, let's go.
Cool. So another topic that I kind of want to bring up is it too late for Nikon in the video world? So like I mentioned earlier, I had the Zhiyun Crane 2, and in that video, I kind of made like an offhanded remark. I said Zhiyun Crane 2 is really focused on Canon, Sony, and Panasonic right now because it makes a lot of sense. You know, these are the three camera brands that are really dominating the video market right now. And if you shoot with a Nikon, you shoot video with a Nikon, then, you know, sorry, you know. And I made an offhanded remark saying, you know, who the hell shoots video on Nikon cameras? And then there are a few of you who kind of commented back and said that what I thought about the D850, you know, like it's kind of on the rise to rival, you know, the Canon cameras. It rivals it, if not better than the Canon 5D Mark IV. So in my opinion, I think, you know, it's very possible for Nikon to get into the video world, you know, but it might take them a very, very long time, because if you think about it right now, Canon's really dominating the newbie market with their entry-level DSLR cameras, you know, the T6i, T7i, 70D, 80D, you know, these are very affordable entry-level DSLR cameras that people can get. So they've been doing it for a very long time now. And once they get better, they get a little bit more advanced, they'll probably transition to a higher model Canon cameras like a 5D Mark IV or 1DX or whatever. On Sony's end, you know, Sony's kind of like stealing people away from Canons because they're offering better features on their cameras, you know, 4K, 120 frames per second, 1080p, focus peaking, histogram, zebras, and all that stuff, like features that a lot of video creators would love to have on their Canon, but couldn't get it because they're not offering it on the 5D Mark IV or the cameras that are under that. So in my opinion, I think if Nikon wants to make it out in the video world, they would have to do something like what Sony's doing right now and offer way more compelling features to sway the crowd, get people turning their heads to move to Nikon or try out Nikon at the very least. But Danny, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I honestly, I've always been kind of, I've always found that Nikon seemed to be pushing the video side of things early on compared to Canon in a way, with the exception of the dual pixel, right? What I really liked when I remember the Nikon D7100, it had a headphone jack. It had the microphone jack. It had 20 minutes of video recording. At the time, something like a Canon 60D, for example, or even a Canon 6D could only record. Could they do 30 minutes? I don't remember anymore. But the early camera bodies, like the 6D, the 5D Mark II, they were only doing about 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes of video recording at any given time. But then Nikon was really going in there, and I really did like that. And it did entice me. I did try out the D7100 for a short while with the Nikon system. But the point is it too late for Nikon to go into the video world? I think in the high-end market, it's probably too late. I don't see it happening. I mean, Canon has their cinema line, Panasonic, they have their own cinema line, Sony has their own cinema line. You know, all these big juggernauts already kind of already have their space in there, and Nikon jumping in there. I think they're on the right track with the D850 with regards to the full frame video 4K, because that was something that Canon didn't do a very good job of with their 5D Mark IV. And you got to add on top of that their 6D Mark II. They have so they are offering 120 FPS at, is it 1080p?
I don't know. I don't think it's so specific about that. But yeah, the specs of the D850 are 4K 30. It has focus peakings. It has zebras. It has touch focus. It has flat picture control. Not sure if they're going to call it N-Log or not, but headphone jack, mic jack. So pretty much the three biggest thing right here is it three biggest things? No, two biggest things. Focus peaking and zebras. You know, they're having these features that are now pretty much standard in most video cameras. At least, you know, DSLR mirrorless cameras that Canon are still not putting in their 80D, 5D Mark IV. You know, this is something that's coming standard with the Nikon. So I can see why some people left me some comments saying that the D850 is looking really good. But I just think, is it worth now to try to get into Nikon just to
I think the issue I think the issue is that if we were in the Nikon ecosystem, we would kind of fall into this like section, right? This segment.
Yeah.
If we were already shooting in that field, if we were kind of like, okay, man, let's just see if there's going to be any good video features. I think the D850 gives a compelling reason to stay with Sony, stay with Nikon if you're interested in video, if you want to do some video. So like I said, I like that Nikon is doing this. They're making gains, and they're basically trying to show that you can put these features and capabilities into the camera, and that it's the marketing choice by Canon to segment their products so that way they protect their cinema line. You know, Nikon did it. They were able to put 4K, no crop, and you're saying Canon couldn't do it. That's basically what I extrapolated from this situation here. So
yeah, you're absolutely right. I just feel like whoever's already in the Nikon ecosystem, they're gonna be they will rejoice over this. But for people to come switch over, no, maybe a little bit harder.
It'd be tough. Like to find myself jumping to Nikon, there would have to be something compelling. But with that said, Nikon is looking to potentially go into the mirrorless with their full frame system. So I think they do. Well, that's the interview that was mentioned on Sony Alpha Rumors, right? Is it Sony Alpha Rumors we got that from? It could be.
There's a few sources. There's a few rumor site sources that says, you know, if they're gonna do a mirrorless camera, it's gonna be a full frame, and there has been reports saying that they are developing a mirrorless camera. So put two and two together, the mirrorless camera that they have coming out will be a full frame.
So my question for you is it too late already for them to do that? Is it already too late for them to bring in a full frame mirrorless camera from Nikon?
I don't think so. I mean, like, there's just competition every day. You know, they're going to bring it in. They're going to bring it in.
I mean, my question, though, the only thing I would say, it seemed as if they didn't want to make the body smaller, so they're going to probably make a full-frame mirrorless camera that's a pretty similar size body. I think that'd be smart. I'd be interested to see what that camera looks like, for sure. Like I said, again, would it be you want to jump over to Nikon? Probably not. But like, it would definitely keep the Nikon crowd happy and make them stronger in that regards. But
cool.
I don't know. I just wish Canon would have done that. Damn it, Canon.
Dropping the ball.
Jeez.
All right. Let's see what the chat has to say. Let's see here.
Let's see. Anyone expecting the Sony Star eating effect? Tell Sony to fix it, Jason. I just don't do that. The astrophotography. Let's see.
Vex Vegas says it's never too late for refresh. Creators will buy whatever to make their production easier and nicer. I think so. I think like I've been seeing like a lot of trend that people can just easily drop whatever they're shooting with and just move on, just uproot to a different system. Let's see here. AR15 photo says the new D850 full frame 4K though. Mario ask, do you have any news about Panasonic possibly going full frame? That would be awesome. And Vex Vega says full frame micro four thirds.
Don't they have like an APS-C cinema camera?
They do.
I could be wrong, man. I don't know that particular world too well.
Yeah, we don't know too much about that market, but if you're just speaking specifically about like the GH5, like the GH6 being a full frame, I don't think so. I think they're happy keeping their GH5, the form factor, it's small, and the lenses the way they are. So I don't think they will develop a full frame for the upcoming GH6 or 7 or 8 into the future. I think they're happy with what they got. And I think a lot of people who shoot with the GH5, they're happy with the form factors of the lenses. And if not, they can easily adapt it with the Metabones.
You know, I gotta say, sometimes there's some times when you really want depth of field. Like you want some depth of field, and that's where those things come in handy, like the Micro Four Thirds system. So they definitely have a place. PhotoMeX says Nikon was the first DSLR company to do video. That is correct with the D90. I think it was 720p at the time, as Pat Adolfo was mentioning there. I remember that.
Also, pretty much a trend is Nikon has started the trend, but they didn't really kept up with it.
Canon, because the Canon 5D Mark II definitely overshadowed the Nikon D90 with regards to video, and that's kind of where it just exploded.
Let's see here. Casper says the new A9, the Sony A9 is the camera of the year.
Very well could be.
Is
that already stated, or is that going to happen? Let's see.
I just feel like unless something comes out, but
yeah,
A9 got it in the bag, man.
Tomas Villegas says, then there's Canon. That price of entry into 4K is crazy expensive. That was honestly the thing that really frustrated me, right? If you wanted 4K in the Canon system, you had to get a 5D Mark IV. That was the cheapest option, unless you wanted to go with the Canon 1DX Mark II. They didn't have any APS-C offerings. With Panasonic, I picked up 2 G7s back in the day to get 4K, and I picked up the GH4. So it was much easier. It was a much lower barrier of entry to get into 4K with these other systems, especially Sony right now. You got the 6300, the 6500. It's just much easier if you wanted to get into 4K, but Canon just still makes it really tough. So I just want to point that out.
PhotoMeX says D850 does 120 FPS 1080p. Thanks for confirming.
Nice. Yeah.
Tomas says the 60 is such a joke and missed the mark big time. PhotoMeX says I always cringe when I hear Danny and Jason speak on Nikon. Oh, I thought you're saying like how we're pronouncing it.
Oh,
Nikon. It's Nikon, right? Japanese Nikon.
Pat Adolfo says, Nikon lost my interest years ago. Don't get me wrong, their dynamic range is fantastic, but if you have something doing the same thing but smaller and compact, I'm going with the latter because of convenience.
I've seen some concert photos from the Nikon. They look amazing, man, in low light. Better than Canon, I have to admit.
I said I remember when I had the Canon 5D Mark II, or I think it was either between I had the Canon 7D or the Canon 5D Mark II. I was actually considering the Nikon D700, D700 because of its low light capability, its drive mode. It had a good with the battery grip. You got increased FPS performance on that thing. So, but that was some time ago. Let's see.
Pat Adolfo, I wish Sony did that with the A mount. Some of the A mount glass is actually really good. It burns me out that they're pretty much giving up on that mount. You know, they say in the recent interview that they're not giving up on the A mount, but they did make a comment saying like, oh, you know, we have small passionate fans with the A mount. You know, we definitely want to keep catering to that market.
Casper's asking me what I want to see in the next A9 firmware update. You know, something I really miss on the Canon system is there's a rate button on the back of the camera. When someone's previewing a photo, you can just press a button and it'll automatically rate the image. You can do it with the Sony A9 and the Sony mirrorless system. It's just that you have to go into a couple of menus and then you can start rating those images. Obviously, things like having picture profiles would be great, but I don't see Sony doing that anytime soon on the A9. I'm just being realistic at this moment. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see.
Pat Adolfo says, does Sony have the option of changing size of the RAW files in the camera like Canon? I remember that Jason brought it up that you can't with the A7R too.
No, it's either RAW and then JPEG. You can change the JPEG, but not the RAW. You can only change RAW from uncompressed to compressed.
Yeah,
that's all I recall.
Seth1 says, I like to see A7 series apps on the A9. Spent money purchasing on the time lapse app for my A7S. Now I'm looking to have to look into an aftermarket intervalometer.
Wait, I thought the A9 has that built in already. I thought that was built in. Because you lost access to the App Store on there or the apps. Tomas saying, when y'all going to Venice? Aren't you going?
Venice? I don't know. I thought you were talking about camera. Sony 8K broadcast camera.
When you all going to get the Venice?
I don't know, man. Not me. That's some crazy stuff going on with that.
Oh.
All right, guys. Let's 7:45 now. Let's go ahead and start queuing up the questions. Open Q&A. Go ahead and ask us anything about Sony, Panasonic, Canon, Nikon. Can't really comment on Nikon, but you know what
I'm Venice, I've never, dude.
Oh, and use the hashtag QA if you have a question. Venice. That's something that's new that got announced in IBC 2017. Now it's, I would say, 8K camera aimed at broadcast market.
There we go.
Newly developed 1.25 sensors and ability to record up to 120 frames per second.
Hey, if Sony Pro Support's willing to send in, let me try it out. Sure.
I don't know if they service that market.
Oh gosh, that's insane. 8K.
So the Sony Venice packs a full frame camera into an FS5 size package. Wait, is it FS5 or F55 size package?
It looks big. It's I would say F50. Definitely not the smaller camera.
Oh wow.
No.
Yeah, F55 size box.
F55. It says F55 size package.
Wow. I don't know, man. It's gonna cost me like my entire body for this camera then.
Did they say a price? Was it like $40,000, $50,000?
I don't know. Did they? Tomas, let us know. How much does it cost? Tomas,
I could have sworn it was expensive. So,
Tomas, all right. We'll come over and play with your camera, Tomas.
Manuel Manzanares Q&A is asking recommendations for audio recorder for weddings for sound from board.
I'm actually looking into the Zoom H5 myself, but I don't have any opinions on it yet. I'm only mainly looking into it because it supports USB charging, right? Danny, do you know?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, that's the only reason why I'm looking at the Zoom H5. I have the Zoom H4n, which is phenomenal. It's great, but I kind of just because I always kind of go back and just kind of check up on it every once in a while, and I kind of don't want to do that. The past few weddings that I've been shooting, it's like there's always like a huge hour of downtime after the grand entrance and the speeches. So I don't want to like go off somewhere for like an hour and then forget to come back and hit the record button. I'd rather just hit the record button, leave it, and not have to worry about it. And I'm always like very paranoid about like, oh my God, what if the battery's died on that recorder? So that's the main reason why I'm thinking about getting a Zoom H5.
There you go.
Maybe that's something that you can look into too, Manuel.
Pat Adolfo says, so if I get the A7R2, I'm gonna get 42 megapixel files. Yes, raw files, but you can definitely downsize the JPEGs. But you're not. I wouldn't say you're getting an A7R2 to shoot JPEGs necessarily. For I guess. For reference, I have an i5 second gen CPU, an AMD HD 7850, and a 1 terabyte hard drive. Yeah, I feel like your computer's gonna choke up a little bit there, Pat. I don't know.
Casper asked, Jason, when are you getting the A9? The video is wonderful. If the A7 III does not deliver, I'm going to get the A9.
It's got to deliver. It'll be fine. Q&A, would he ever make a travel type video?
I just published one. It's my
parents'
vlog. You can check it out. It's a little different. I'm surprised like it even got like 3,000 hits. I was like, man, I don't think anyone's going to watch this. Because I was expecting like only 1,000 hits, but hey, I mean, like a lot of comments say resonated with you guys pretty well, so might do more of it. I kind of like did like I don't know if you watched it, Danny, but I pretty much like did like a video and photo meshed into a vlog.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but that's cool.
Yeah. Photo Miaik says, ask what y'all think about the RX. I don't know if you're trying to ask the RX0 or the RX10.
I'm guessing it's the 0, right?
I don't know. You put like 1 on it. So is it a typo of a 10 or a 0?
Yeah, Photo Miaik, let us know. Which one do you mean? Vex Vegas says, why does Sigma, in regards to their art lens, doesn't make art lines with native E-mount? Is that something Sony won't allow them? I think it's on the pipeline. I think it's in the pipeline.
Yeah, they're working on it. I mean, like if you really think about it, Sony didn't get that popular until 2 years ago. So, or even just like pretty recently too. So the market for a Sigma E-mount probably wasn't there, but now they are making some. So Tomas says no prices on the fancy schmancy Venice Beach camera.
Let's see. Chris Barr, how do I keep getting here so late?
I don't know.
That's our SR5 guy right there. That's our SR5. Chris Barr. He knows all. Ask Chris Barr for any future predictions.
All right, Chris Barr, when's A7 III, A7S3, A7R3 coming out? Let us know. Leave in the comments. Yeah. We'll pay you good money for that information.
$1. All right. ARXV Photo says, is this 2470 G Master a must-have lens?
It's not a must-have, but if you're doing any sort of event photography or videography, it's a good lens to have.
See, I personally don't own the G Master yet. I still have my old Canon 2470 f2.8 first gen. I would say for me personally, I would say it's a must-have. If you wanted something that was completely versatile on a full frame body, I would go with it. That's me though.
Sorry I butchered your name. Lavo Hamilton. QA Canon mirrorless. Is it worth the money? I don't think a lot of people are using it. So,
was it the EOS M5, the one that had the flip out screen from the bottom, or was it the
something like that? Yeah.
I think they're thinking in the right direction. I don't think they're at the competition of like Sony, for example, but I wouldn't get the Canon mirrorless. That's just me. All right.
Marty the Mo.
Can any other A9 owners who use Pro Photo strobes with error mode help by emailing or posting on their Facebook? I don't know that situation, unfortunately.
That is on Pro Photo, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who the hell shoots on a Pro Photo?
Hey, I mean, some people bots it.
Yeah, those are some good stuff though. Pro Photo.
Jason Vaughn, what kind of picture profiles do you use? It's Raining Shadows is asking. What picture profile do you use if you're shooting weddings?
PP1 default settings.
There you go.
Chris Barr, Jason, when are you going to post more on the A6000 Facebook group? Love to see more of your stills of your work. I need to get on that. Sometimes I just forget. I'm just like, sometimes I will be like on like a spur, and it's like I'll post my photos on like the Facebook groups, but sometimes I just forget. So yeah, but I do have some new photos to post.
Zachary Cardell's, in general, what's better when shooting video or cinema with the Alpha 6500? Should you use manual lenses or native autofocusing lenses? It depends what you're doing, right? I mean, I manual focus when I need to. If I need continuous autofocus, then
if you want to save on money, get the manual lenses.
Yeah.
1M1A, when you go on vacation, what gear do you bring? That's a horrible question to ask because I bring almost everything.
So I guess in this case, if you can only bring one Sony camera and a lens, what would it be?
Oh man,
RX10 Mark IV. Okay, great.
Yeah, I think honestly, I've been having a great time with the RX100 Mark V. The quality bothers me a little bit, but what do I expect? It's a point and shoot camera, but I can shoot a lot of great videos with that. Had a lot of fun. It's just easy.
Yeah. I think I'm going to try to ask Sony Pro Support before the New York trip about the Sony RX10 Mark IV. We'll see if...
Oh, I should get one too.
I should just bring that. That's all I'm going to bring.
I was thinking for New York, I was just going to bring my RX100 Mark V and the Zhiyun Crane M, and that's it. Maybe.
That'd be interesting.
Well, actually, I'll bring that setup, but I'll also bring like an A7R2 with an 8.
And you're gonna bring it, and you're gonna end up bringing everything else.
Yeah, pretty much. Hold on, let me just get my gear ready on here. Let's go.
Dennis Ramsey, do you think the A7R3 will be released this year? No. Jason, do you think it's going to be released this year, the A7R3?
Nope. AR-15, that Paris video was legit. Thanks. Dave Sincere, do you guys use C stands? Are there spring and air cushion C stands out? I'm using the Flashpoint C stand. I think it has an air cushion.
I don't have any C stands. I want to get some, though.
How have you been doing your overhead shot, then?
What's an overhead shot for, like, my videos?
Yeah, you have like one that's like top down while you do your unboxings.
I have a light stand, and then I have a magic arm attached to it, and the magic arm holds the camera down.
Yeah, I pretty much got a C stand, and I have like this boom mic pole holder thing, and I just like rig up my monopod with a Manfrotto ball head and just point down on my desk. I haven't shot too much with it yet, but I'm gonna need to.
Pat Adolfo, by the way, Danny, I know they weren't huge on your channel, but do you think you can look into making some PC build videos again? I don't know. That's tough, man. I kind of had to make a decision. I was gonna, when I started building my channel again, I was gonna become a PC channel, like PC building, back in 2015. I actually still have a bunch of parts. Like I was like collecting some PC parts, like cheap power supply units and motherboards and stuff, and I was like trying to come up with some video ideas, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe Pat, maybe later. I've been thinking about doing my own Threadripper build, but I don't got. Maybe not. We'll see, Pat. Just go to Max Yuriev or Zed Pro Media.
Casper, Jason, think of all the good A9 moments you're missing. The A7 III will not have the same awesomeness.
Oh man, Casper is just egging you on, Jason.
Don't. If you actually message me over the weekend, I might actually pull the trigger on it.
Dude.
But I've calmed down, and I was like, oh, I'll wait.
It's amazing. All right. Have you guys had any play? Zachary's asking if you had any playtime with the Sony SX2000 mic. I don't know what that is.
No, I don't know what that is.
It looks like a portable recorder. Looking at it right now. I have not, unfortunately.
No, sorry. I used the Zoom and the Rode, so I didn't look into that.
Okay.
Braden Bella, Q8 prices for Crane 2. It's not official yet, but on B&H it's at $750. Could change. Could change. Could not. We don't know.
Coupon code Jason Bong soon. $150.
And
Dennis Ramsey, will the A7R2 be drastically reduced in price when the A7R3 comes out? I think retail price, probably not. It's probably maybe like $100, $200 maybe. But the A7R2 is already going for about $2,100 gray market if you're willing to toss a dice in that field. And Best Buy has those like open box stuff too, occasionally.
I do have to say that if you do go for the gray market or the open box, you are prone to, I wouldn't say you're prone to it, but if something happens to your camera, it's going to be a little bit harder to fix. I think someone messaged me over the weekend saying they have like a camera error. They couldn't really take it to Sony because it was gray market.
I think they'll still fix it. It's just you won't get the warranty. All right.
Pat Doble says, Jason, even though you're accustomed to it now, but was it weird for you to use both Mac and PC at the same time? I guess so lost with anything that is in Windows. I've been using Mac a lot more than PC now. I still have mine. Whenever I boot it up, I would get so confused between the control key and the command key. Do get a little lost, but I would say, yeah, it's kind of weird. It's just the command and the control key just always throws me off if I ever switch back and forth.
I use both every now and then. I think the only thing for me is how to do a screenshot on my MacBook. I always have to look it up.
Oh.
I always have to look up how to do a screenshot on a MacBook because I don't do it often enough. but I did Command Shift 4, right?
How do you do it on the Windows? I always have to go to the snipping tool.
There's a snipping tool and there's print screen. There's a physical key that's dedicated to it. So I was always used to that, but that's honestly the only thing.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's FN print screen.
Oh
man.
My god, I beating myself up right now.
There's nothing wrong. The snipping tool is pretty good too because you can actually pick out what you want. But with Windows, there's a dedicated print screen.
I knew, man. I think I knew that. I knew that as a kid, and then I just forgot. And then I always just kept using the snipping tool, and it just irks me because I'm just like I have to boot up this program just to do a screenshot. Oh.
It's all good, man. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Francis, what do you think of the Sigma 30mm 1.4 contemporary lens? It's good. Get it.
Manual focus not so good, but everything else good.
Yeah. Makes noises when you shoot videos, but if you're not shooting videos, you're shooting photos, it's a good lens.
Okay, Photo Me, I meant the RX0, the little camera. I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential for it. It's just that I couldn't find myself to be using the RX0. And what really stinks though, the thing that really irked me about the RX0 is that it didn't have inbuilt 4K.
Oh, it doesn't?
It doesn't. It's only 1080p. It has 4K if you have an HDMI out, you can get 4K.
Oh, okay.
So it was like, but it seems it has like other uses that I'm just not that person for it. We'll see.
Jason wants to shoot why he uses white lens for his only lens. I've been shooting with the 85 a lot, so that's kind of like my favorite lens right now. AR15 says, talk about the NYC trip meetup. I guess that's the last thing we'll end on. So again, we're going to New York. Danny and I are going to New York October 25th to the 29th. Danny might be there a little bit later, but we'll be there around the same time for Photo Plus.
Yeah, but definitely we could probably set up some sort of meetup thing. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. How many of you guys are actually in New York? I think a lot of you guys, right?
Yeah.
Who was the guy that was going to take us to pizza?
I don't think I've seen him back anymore. He probably hates us already.
He probably unsubscribed to us because we never showed up. He's like, these guys. Cool. Danny, is there anything else you like to read off or want to let the lovely viewers know what you're up to? What can we expect?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing from me.
Oh, come on. What a buzzkill.
I'm tired of making promises that I'm not going to make anymore. I'm a horrible human being in that regards. I've just been getting like 3 or 4 hours of sleep every day. And it's just been like, I don't know. It's just too many little things going on, work and other things I have to do. So,
all right. So Danny is on a little bit of a hiatus, but you'll still see him on Monday Lives, and we'll have it on his channel next week.
Damn it. Okay.
As for me, I have some videos coming out. As to what they are, I'm not too quite sure yet, but you know, me and Danny kind of joked about this. Like, there's just certain times where like one of us are just feeling down. We're not feeling down, but more like we're not producing as much video or like no video at all, and the other one's just like pumping out videos on a constant basis. You know,
I am feeling down. Thanks, Jason. No, it's just I'm out of my groove right now. Like I don't feel like I'm in. Like I've been trying and meaning to work on some videos, but it's just like things just get kind of like blindsided. It just doesn't pan out the way I envision it. It's just like, man, I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying. I'll get back into it. It's just when Jason Vong slows down, I'll come.
When I slow down, pretty soon. It's gonna be pretty soon. I'll slow down pretty soon. I'm running out of fuel right now.
Yeah, we need to film a couple of videos in New York then when that happens. Okay.
Cool. So we'll probably set something up. Maybe like I'll set up like a Facebook event page or something. But just keep an eye out on our videos. We'll make a note on it, or follow us on Instagram. We'll mention something about a New York meetup. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for joining us on another Monday Night Live. We'll see you guys on Danny's channel next week. Peace.
Wait, Pat Adolfo says, I swear to God, Jason and Danny, if you don't go to NYC, I'm gonna be so effing.
we're gonna be there way after NYC.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be there. Well, in New York,
We in New York.
Yeah.
Pat, don't you're not even in New York. I don't even know why you're complaining. I'm in New York,
unless he's going. Bye, everybody.
Peace.